All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr.'s next steps if this fight between him and Terence Crawford does not happen. The IBF is in the position to make a move that could potentially make an even better fight or just as good a fight as the Terence Crawford fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, but we're not going to talk specifically about the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. Quite honestly, man, I am getting to the point where I'm like, man, is this fight really going to happen? Obviously, that's the big conversation going on in boxing because there's really not a lot left, a lot of other things going on other than, good side conversations. But the meat of the big fights taking place, the most exciting one is the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. But since that looks like it, may or may not happen, there is a very good possibility that Errol Spence will have to move on. And in that case, you know who that is most likely going to be, or at least one or two guys that it may be. Before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for checking the video out. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you again for watching the channel. I really cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys checking out the videos, actually listening to the videos and making comments based on what is said in the video. On YouTube, you have a lot of people that will just jump into a comment section and start running their mouths and really have no idea what was actually said in the video. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we just got shorter attention spans these days. I don't know whether it's just, the internet or whatever it is, but, the attention spans on some of these people are just infantile. Anyway, let's move forward with this. So there's the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight that I don't know if it's going to get made, quite honestly. There's all kind of talk about why the fight could be held up, what is taking so long. And really, I would think at this point in time, they would be able to have struck an agreement. There was not that much going on as far as, what it takes to negotiate the fight, but there was always a bunch of bad signs from the beginning. Pretty much, and what I mean is like the tone of Stephen Espinoza, when Stephen Espinoza said the fight is more likely to happen, right? Not a strong, yeah, we think it's going to happen. Yes, this fight can get made. A, type of conversation like where, if you're asking your mother if she can buy you a car or something and she's like, yeah, well, if you work hard, maybe we can do it next summer, baby. That type of tone out of Stephen Espinoza's mouth. Then you have Floyd Mayweather Jr., who pretty much killed any conversation about the fight being in October, or at least the announcements and all that stuff for October, being done. And now, we are in the month of July, the second week, we're going into the second week of July. This conversation is going on for at least 2 months. So not really sure, at least a month and a half. Let me go back to say about a month and a half. Not sure why it wouldn't get done. So what is going to happen next? What's going to happen next is Errol Spence Jr. is going to have to pick somebody to fight next. And more than likely, it's not going to be at 154 pounds. What he said was that he has 2 more fights at 147. That was before the Yordenis Ugas fight, that he wanted to fight Yordenis Ugas. And after the fight with Yordenis Ugas, he wants to fight Terence Crawford. And after that, he's moving up to 154. If he's going up to 100, if he does not get the Terence Crawford fight, him vacating all the belts and going up to 154 this year, I'm really not sure what fights there are for him there. Because if you look at the layout of the 154-pound division with Jermell Charlo being, holding all of the belts, and then he has he has like at least 2 different mandatories, that are lined up for him, and in Tim Tszyu and the I believe it's a IBF mandatory as well. A guy with a Eastern European last name. Please forgive me for not being able to pronounce his name, and I'm not gonna just massacre it. in this video, right? So all of the belts there are tied up in mandatories and fights like that. Now, if he does move up there, obviously he could just take a mandatory. He could just take a voluntary, shot against anybody, right? But is Errol Spence Jr. going to do 2 and 3 fights before he gets a chance to fight for that belt? I'm not so sure about that, right? But if you look at what's going on in the 147-pound division, he's got 2 mandatories and a third fight, which I think people would probably really want to see and would be a big pay-per-view event. Not as big as the Terence Crawford fight, but one probably that the PBC and Showtime would be more amenable to making, and that is the fight with Keith Thurman. Then obviously the 2 mandatories that you have is Jaron Ennis, and then you have Emanis Stanionis, who was the mandatory for Yordenis Ugas before Yordenis Ugas lost to Errol Spence Jr. So those are the pretty much what looks like would be the fights that could be getting lined up for the end of the year if this Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fight does not get done. The more time goes on, the less likely it is that the fight's going to get made. Not saying that I'm totally, writing off that that fight is going to get made. I'm just saying, look, it's June, it's July, and nobody's attitudes and everybody that has said anything about the fight, if you listen closely to what they've said, they've seemed a little bit less optimistic than they did before. Even where, Terence Crawford was saying, yeah, I'm 100% confident this fight's going to get made, till a fight, into him being hopeful, that the fight can happen, but we got to get the business side of all of this stuff worked out, right? And what the business side of it is, at the end of the day, there's a lot of speculation about what it is, whether it is Terence Crawford offering $20 million, wanting $20 million for the fight. Some people said it's $25 million for the fight. Don't know that for sure because we're not actually inside the negotiations, just getting what is coming from the outside, coming from other people. And then you have conversations about the different terms and things related to it. But whatever the case is, Terence Crawford has not agreed to the fight yet. I'm safe to say that Errol Spence Jr. originally made that offer. And the question, I guess, maybe Terence, the only hope that we have for this is that Terence is going to do something that is a last minute, okay, I'll take it. However, just not sure about that. And I kind of want to get my mind on, all right, so what's going to happen if that fight doesn't happen? The Jaron Ennis fight, I think, is a fight that could be every bit as good as the Terence Crawford fight, except for in a very different way, in that one is one guy is a very established star, the other one is coming up, and it could be an opportunity for for a real big star to be born in Jaron Ennis if he can get through the fight, or Errol Spence Jr. to have like a real classic battle where he knocks off the young dude coming up. Either way, it'd be an interesting fight to sell. The fight that I would think would be most likely, even though if it was not for the case that Errol Spence Jr. was just seemed so dead set against it, is the Keith Thurman fight, because those guys are both established fighters with names that PBC and Showtime know would sell. But anyway, we'll keep our eyes out on what's going on with the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight, but also starting to just keep an eye looking forward about what would happen if this thing doesn't come through. Anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, thank you to everybody that actually listens to the video and what we say in the video. It really is important because we do the video for the conversation, right? Thank you very much. And with that, I'm out. Peace.